guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to get this sort of vignette effect using distress oxides, a stamp, a brush, a stencil, and these little blender tools. I use the scrapbook.com ones. I like them better than the Ranger ones because they're actually stuck on here, and the Ranger ones are stapled, so it's very hard to just flick these off and you just end up getting gunk all over your hands. And I'll be using today a stamp from Fairy Stamper, and this stamp is called, here it is. This stamp is called Wild Leaves, and I'm going to show you some examples. You can use any stamp you want. This is just the one that I'm using for the demo. As far as cardstock goes, I'm using 5.5 by 4 1/4 that I cut myself. This is opaque accent opaque. I get it from Amazon. I'll leave in the link in the description box. And for one that matches up with this one, I'll be using, starting with Speckled Egg as your lightest color, followed by Evergreen Bough and Peacock Feather. And I've got my little blender tools ready, but I want to start out with is a stencil. And honestly, Catherine, I'm sorry, I mixed up my stencils. I believe this one is Flourish and Whimsy. It's either that or Swoop. The other one is sitting in water because I used it for another project. But what we want to do is we want to get a foundation kind of background going here. Just this, it's this right here. And so I'm going to take a blending brush, and these blending brushes I get from Amazon. They're cheap, get a bunch of colors. They work for me. And I like to set my ink on my little sticky pad there. And then you're just going to lightly first brush off and lightly kind of make an oval in the center. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to be mostly covered up. But you don't want it too heavy is all. You want it nice and light. There we go. See? You can barely even see it. Perfect. Move my brush aside. Now I'm going to get my dauber ready, and it helps if these are wet a little bit. So I just kind of daub it in and make sure it's kind of wet. And I'm going to take my little stamp sitting on my Simon Hurley stamp block because it's a great stamp block, and start in the corners. So you kind of want to eyeball where's going to be one corner. And then just take and blend that corner out. Doesn't come out perfect, no big deal. You're going to cover it up anyway. And then go on to the next corner. Eyeball how deep you want it in, because this is going to be your focal point here. And blend it out. And this is actually pretty quick and easy. Just a matter of setting things down and picking them up. Blend that one out. And you can see that the centers of my leaves are kind of blind because my little, see how that's warped? So I've got to tap in a little bit better. Maybe tap more than once. Oh, I'm lazy though, I hate doing that. Press it in. There, that's a little better. So now you've got your corners laid out. So you can kind of see your vignette starting to form. Now, what we're going to do is, and it doesn't matter if they overlap, you can change the orientation if you want to. And I'll do 2 at a time now. And just, again, blend them out. This again is the Speckled Egg. And it's okay if you're blending it out into the center portion because it looks great that way. I'll do a single here. And you just don't have to be perfect with this. It's super forgiving. I'm going to do one here. Do one here. Blend them out. And then finally, get one done right here. Just like that. there's step one. Kind of wipe off my stamp a little, doesn't matter, I just don't want to really do too much contaminating of my next color. And I'm going to swap out now for the evergreen bough. See how I love these, because you can just flick it off of there without getting much ink on you. Now I keep a piece of paper, just a torn piece of paper, for a couple of reasons, but the main reason right now is so I can hold on to this without, so I don't get smeary in the middle, because that's typical for me. Got my new blender foam on, going in with the evergreen black bough, and I'm just going, let me zoom in a bit, just going slightly below the first one, blend it out. And I like to do the corners first. Go slightly below, blend it out. And go slightly below, blend it out. See how the color's starting to take shape with the color? Slightly below, blend it out. Now I'm going to do two up top. One here, one here. You can turn your stamp as you like. Give it another blend. And try hitting it with the right side. Okay, and I'm going to go into these spaces in between, just slightly further back. Blend. And you could stop at this point if you like it that way. You could put a dozen more colors too. Here, here, blend it out. And finally, go here, here. You see this ink pad isn't as warped. Here. And blend it out. I don't know how they get warped like that. I guess pressing hard on them. I don't know. Alright, done with that step. Final step. Well, maybe final step. Up to you. I'm going to go in with the peacock feathers. Flip off my little foam. Grab the new foam. Wipe off my stamp a little bit. Zoom out a little bit there. Okay, and now these ones I'm going to keep pretty close together, so I'm going to do a few at a time. Now if your ink is super wet, I'll show you what you should do, because this stuff's pretty wet. It's peacock feathers. Give it a pounce, pounce, pounce first, and then start blending. In, so you see where I'm slightly in from the last color, but these ones I'm pretty much wanting to cover the entire edge. If your ink's super wet, it's just going to smear into a blob, so if you give it that little dab first, it'll help it partly dry enough to where you don't get blobbed. See, no big deal. However you do them is how they come out, and it's pretty cool. And the last couple up there. There's what you have. Okay, pretty neat. I like it. I'm good with it. Now you see I've gone farther in with this one. What I did was I switched back to my speckled egg, and I'm going to take my blending tool. I'm going to dab it in the speckled egg, and then I'm going to dab it off. I'm just going to go around like that. And just kind of get the edges here a little bit more saturated with color. And then if you see any spots where you want to change the shape a little bit, go in with your lightest color with your stamp and bring in some more stamps. This time you don't even have to smudge them out. Okay. Now I'm getting the rounder shape that I was looking for. And a little more color on that edge. You've got your certain kind of vignette thing going there with white in the center. And then what I had done was I had taken this Tim Holtz flutter set, and I used on this one here, I used this butterfly. I stamped it out twice, or I cut it out twice with the matching die. And then the first one I just fully colored with the peacock feather. Second one I stamped out with the Ranger Archival ink, and then painted it with the mixture of the Distress Oxides. You know, you take them and you put them like that. And I used this shimmer spray that I made myself, which is just basically water and Perfect Pearls. And then just take my watercolor brush, and I'm not gonna, just gonna demo how I do it. Kind of mix it up and then paint the colors on. Easy peasy. Then I took and I shaped this butterfly using this shaping tool set that Tim Holtz had demonstrated, yeah, gosh, a few months ago. Pretty cool set. And I just took and shaped out the feathers, glued it on, cut out the part of a sentiment from the Catherine Puller sentiment set that I recently got, which says Shine Bright, but I didn't feel like putting the bright on there. And basically trimmed this down, glued it on, good to go. Now the last thing I wanted to show you here was that you can use any stamp and any color combination you want, and I'll show you. Get this stuff out of the way here. This one here, I used my little edge cutter thingy and cut the edges, and I used this little stamp right here, which is hard to see, but it's just a little flower stamp. It goes with this set, and honestly, I threw away the wrapper long before I knew I should probably be keeping those. And so I don't remember if anybody remembers. I know I got it. It was a card kit. It was from the UK. And for this one, I used spun sugar, Kitsch flamingo, picked raspberry, and then I painted just the way I described. And then I edged it with Vintage Photo, and I kind of dirtied that up with Vintage Photo, put a Happy Mother's Day stamp. So there's that one. And then this one, I used just this little coffee cup. And basically did the same procedure with the coffee cup. And I used, where are they? Well, I used scattered straw. I used, where'd they go? Scattered straw. Well, I can't find them. Brushed corduroy and ground espresso. And made the little thing. And then this came from my, the same set, which is from Simon Says Stamp of the Month, or Card Kit of the Month from, I want to say October. And then this one, I used this little dragonfly stamp right here. And the color combination used here was Shaded Lilac, Seedless Preserves, and Wilted Violet. I stamped out Curlig, and Curlig is from Fairy Stampers, with the Monarch colored VersaFine Clair, and then put Clear Heat embossing, and then painted the little wings the same way. Now this one instead of using a stencil in the center like these do, I took a mask that I made. Whenever I get stamps like this, I will go ahead and make masks with them. And these are the moon stamps from Fairy Hug Stampers. And I just took the mask and laid it on there, and then lightly with the brush, lightly filled in, and then started my little odyssey of dragonflies. And this one is just the color combination of old paper, bundled sage, and forest moss. This one, if you had something that would resemble a flame, would be make a super cool flame. Uses spice marmalade, mustard seed, and candied apple. And this one here uses trip sapphire, blueprint sketch, and salty ocean. And honestly, all you need to do is just, you know, have a scrap piece of paper and put the colors down and see if you like them together. It's a matter of what you like. But these all I use the same stamp on. Also, just as a side note, to get this little, see how I've got the little glitter around there? I use this Quickie Glue pen, and then I use the clear rock candy distress glitter. Just draw the line around there, pour the glitter on, clean it off, and you're good to go. And that's it for my examples. So I hope you liked today's video. Here's the final of the background that we did, and here's his little counterpart card. If you like what you see, please hit the like button. Be sure and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that when I put a new video out, you'll be informed. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have an awesome day.